Hello everyone, today is June 23rd, 2022, and you are welcome to the ninth edition of Nigeria Today News. Last edition, we x-rayed the structure of upcoming Nigeria presidential general election, the candidates and what they stand for, and the issues of zoning. Today, we will be talking about the concepts, a placeholder, a new concept in Nigeria's political lexicon. The following questions will guide us. Who is a placeholder? Is it legal or constitutional? Who is a placeholder? In politics, a placeholder is an official appointed temporarily to a position with the understanding that he will not seek office in their own right or a person or thing that occupies the position, or it's a place of another person or things as an interim measure. Let's see how some presidential aspirants in different parties have made use of placeholders in nominating their vice presidential candidates. The All Progressive Congress (APC). The party held its presidential primary on 8 June 2022 in Abuja and nominated Bola Tinubu, former governor of Lagos State, as its flag bearer. The APC, in order to meet INEC deadline for the nomination of the vice president candidates, submitted the name of Kabil Ibrahim Masari, a politician and party operative from Katsina State, as a placeholder. The vice presidential nominee is to be substituted at a later date. The Labour Party held its primary on 30th May 2022, shortly after former governor of Anambra State Peter Obi joined the party from the PDP. The Labour Party held its presidential primary in Asaba, where Obi was nominated unopposed. On 17th June, the party submitted the name of Doyin Okupe, a physician and former PDP candidate who became the Director General of Obi Campaign Organization, as a placeholder vice presidential nominee to be substituted for someone else at later date. Doyin Okupe has hinted the Labour Party choosing a young Northerner as the running mate to Peter Obi ahead of the 2023 presidential election. Okupe said this recently during an interview with the Channels TV, while confirming he is just a placeholder until consultations and coalition in the Labour Party are concluded. When asked about the Christian ticket affecting Obi's chances, Okupe disclosed that the Labour Party is considering a young vice president and he is also willing to sacrifice to return power to the youth. Okupe said Nigerian youth must move closer to the Labour Party. We are prepared to make any sacrifice to have Nigerians youths have the country back in their hands and willing to make themselves available at any cost so Nigerian youth can ride on our back and power, and that includes the position of the vice president. As every election season approaches, Nigerian politics become dangerous, with politicians displaying a winner takes it all and justifies the myth's attitude to the detriment of the citizen with 2023 general elections fast approaching. This is not good for democracy. Inebehi Efong, a human rights lawyer, has said nomination of placeholders by Bola Tinubu and Peter Obi is unknown to law. The suggestion that a vice presidential candidate can be substituted at will or randomly is erroneous. Presidential candidates, political parties, and the media are generally public and advised to trivialize the process of nominating a vice presidential candidate, he said. I understand that some political parties resorted to this arrangement in order to beat the deadline for submission of nomination set by INEC. But as earlier proceeded, the arrangement is not without risk, Inebe Efong said. The novel concept of a placeholder that some presidential candidates are resorting to is unknown to the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act. When a name is submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as vice presidential candidates, the name's bearer automatically and legally becomes the vice presidential candidate of the political party simplicity. The name's bearer automatically and legally becomes the vice presidential candidate of the political party simpliciter. However, Section 31 of the Electoral Act 2022 allows for the withdrawal of candidacy, unlike the position under the repealed 2010 Electoral Act, where political parties were allowed to change or substitute candidates on the basis of cogent and verifiable reasons. The Electoral Act 2022 expressly prohibits the substitution of candidates, subject to only two permissible exceptions. Now, what is the fate of Bola Tinubu and Peter Obi and their parties? The associated risk with this arrangement is that if the placeholders subsequently fail or refuse to withdraw, as expected or agreed in writing after they had been validly nominated, the parties and the presidential candidate will have no choice but to stick with them to the end of the election. It is reported in the media that the presidential candidates of All Progressive Congress (APC) and the Labour Party (LP), Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Mr. Peter Obi, respectively, have nominated persons as placeholder to stand in temporarily pending when they will nominate substantive vice presidential candidates. This is a risky political arrangement. It is not rooted in law. The individuals so nominated are the vice presidential candidates of the APC and the Labour Party. However, Tinubu and Obi and their parties can substitute them if the conditions stated above are met by the placeholders. The associated risk with this arrangement is that if the placeholder subsequently fail to withdraw, as expected or agreed in writing after they have been validly nominated, the party and the presidential candidate will have no choice but to stick with them to the end of the election. The suggestion that a vice presidential candidate can be substituted at will or randomly is erroneous. This position of the vice president is elective, not appointive. As the Supreme Court correctly stated in Attorney General of the Federation v. Atiku Abubakar 2007, a vice president is the vice president of the country, not of the political party under which he was elected. Nigeria today feels a vice presidential candidate is a candidate. A person cannot be validly elected as president except he nominates another candidate as his associate from the same political party to run with him to occupy the office of the vice president if they are elected. If you don't agree with us, you can drop your views and comments below. Let's analyze. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nigeria Today. I am Oyiza Adi. Thanks for staying with us.